Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, welcome. We're gonna get back into more foodie beauty content. Two things quickly, I am in a different location with a different setup, so it's gonna sound a little different. I do apologize, it's the best I can do right now on short notice. I do want to try catching up on some foodie content and amber content because I am way behind. So if I try catching up, or at least try to keep this similar pace, that way I don't fall behind too far, because I've already got about like 4 or 5 weeks on foodie and I've got a couple more amber videos to do. So hopefully I can try at least catching up just a little bit. But we're going to try getting into the video of my husband weighed me and weight loss vlog. After that, we're getting into a couple more foodie and then probably amber. So let's get straight into the video and see how it goes, shall we?
Hey guys, how are you? So I have another video for you guys. This is the last and final weigh-in I will do for this week, because I've weighed myself multiple times on different scales even. So yeah, so this is the final weigh-in. So I had Salah weigh me today. He was available, he was home, and I got dressed up and everything, so yeah.
I had the mentality of wondering why exactly she needed a husband to film, because she could just get a tripod, but at the same time, you know, if you're paying your husband to love you, the least you could do is hold a camera once in a while, so.
I put socks on because my feet need some TLC badly. I'm planning on getting a pedicure at some point. I don't know, I don't really care right now. I'm worried more about this lifestyle change one step at a time, so.
Damn girl, you're already huffing and puffing, so you must be anxious as hell. I can assume that it's probably really bad.
But yes, so I will insert the weigh-in here. Hi guys, all right, I'm ready to do my weigh-in, and Salah will film me this morning, and yeah, so let's get to. All right, 0. All right, what's it say?
Alright, so now I understand why she needs a husband and not the tripod. She can't look past the fupa, so she can't record, so it makes complete sense now. Also, was he having like a seizure during that? Because I don't know why he was all over the place. Like, I've seen 3-year-olds with better stability in their hands, so I don't know what that was about.
So that's exactly what the scale at the scientific center, if you didn't see that, I weighed myself at this. They had this like big, it was an industrial type of scale. If you look at the bottom of it, like it was, you know, it was kind of like, I don't know, it was a huge scale. So I know some people thought that it was for kids, but it's actually, there's some areas that are more for, like, you know, it's meant to be for like educational for children, but it's not only for children, and I don't think that scale has a weight limit. Feel free to investigate it if you want to. That's your prerogative as a viewer. But
two things. First, that was really shady of you. Loved it. Secondly, I don't really understand why so many people are uptight about people, especially adults, having fun in like a family location or a place, you know, a place just geared toward children. Like, you can still have fun even as an adult. You don't need to be uptight and just wound. You need to be an adult 24/7. Just, you know, let go once in a while, enjoy your time. There's no need to judge people over trivial things. There's plenty of other things to judge her on, other than the fact that she's enjoying, you know, something that's meant for a kid or geared towards children.
I'm using this same single scale I have with the stain on it and everything. Actually, let's clean it because it's been a while since I've cleaned it. Windex. And it could really use it. So yes. There we go. Squeaky clean.
If you ever make that face again while looking at me with that hand motion, I swear to God, I am gonna sue. I'm gonna go full Karen and I will goddamn sue.
Perfect. All right. And this scale goes up to 180 kgs.
Sorry, Amber, this one's not for you.
And every time I do a weigh-in, I always explain myself, and I don't know why I feel like the need to do that, but I guess that's my problem. But I'm not going to be doing it beyond this video. I think I've shown my fair share. If you're still skeptical, that's a you problem, because I think I've proven enough that, you know, my weight is not rigged in any way. I would have nothing to gain from that. I'm not ashamed of how much I weigh. By that I mean, I've never hidden my weight from anyone. I've never hidden my body. Everyone carries their weight differently. It just depends on a lot of things. If I was weighing myself and I was reaching the limit of the scale, because a lot of people have said, maybe you're too heavy for the scale. Why would the scale consistently read the same readings over and over and over again if it was reaching the limit? Reaching the limit would be 180 kgs, not 152. So it would max out at 180, and you would not know if you weighed more than that beyond.
I mean, there's a plethora of reasons. First and foremost, you're a liar, so people are going to speculate on whether or not you tell the truth. Secondly, just because you're not ashamed to show your body does not mean you're ashamed of your weight. Like, we all know that you have the hijab, one, because you're cosplaying a Muslim, but two, you also like to use it to cover up part of your face to make it a little bit smaller. You also use filters and makeup to also slim your face down, which, if you don't care about how other people perceive you, why would you wear filters in the first place? Why would you wear makeup in the first place? That's kind of the point of wearing makeup or filters. It's to make you up. It's to make your appearance look more presentable. Which, honestly, no hate to women or men who want to wear makeup. I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like, if anything, it's the texture of makeup that kind of puts me off. So, like, as long as I'm not touching you, I don't care what you look like. It's not my problem. Essentially, if we're not dating, I just don't care. And even if we are dating, just don't touch me with makeup on and we're fine. Amber and Foodie, they like to say we don't care about how other people perceive us. You do. You deeply care. It's why you rage post so much and then delete the rage post like 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later. Like, you will rage, throw some shit out there, get very insecure about how people are going to perceive you, and then delete it. It's the same thing with your weight. You wear the hijab, you wear the filters and the makeup to make yourself look more presentable.
So I don't think if the scale was over the limit that it would read 152, 154 consistently every time I've been weighing myself lately these past couple of days. But again, for the skeptical people, you're allowed to think what you want. It really has no impact on my journey whatsoever. Regardless if people think I'm lying about the scale, about my weight, I will continue to weigh myself. I will continue to put myself out there, and without shame, and yeah, without lies. So,
Since I have been on my weight loss journey, I've had 3 different scales. I've had an old pair that I used to use all the time, even before I started, and then I had 2 more that I recently got afterwards, because I realized that I was doing a 2 kilo difference from my old scales in comparison to the new scales. So I bought a 3rd pair just to confirm whether or not the old scales is right or the new scales is right. And the 2 newer ones, which are more expensive, seem to be more accurate in terms of overall weight in comparison to the older scales. So just because you're getting consistent numbers does not mean that the scales are accurate. If you have just an old pair or one that may not be balanced right, it could give you consistent numbers, just not the right numbers. So it's something you do need to take into consideration. Also, placement of the scales. You're supposed to leave them in one spot. You're not supposed to move them around, because you can move, even on tiles, move the scales around maybe a couple inches, and it could give you a different reading based on that location. So you need to leave them on one spot. You shouldn't be picking them up and waving them around, because that's not good for the scales. That's not what they're meant to be used for. You're supposed to just put them in one spot and leave them in one spot.
This scale, this one here, Wansa brand, I don't even know if we have that in Canada. Wansa. You can look it up. Again, that's your prerogative as a viewer. But this scale is not from the villa. You could probably easily go back in videos and live streams and see that the villa scale was a different scale.
It's funny to me that she has to kind of reiterate the same point of, I don't care about how the viewers perceive me or what they think of me or whether or not I'm lying, but she brings up this is your right to do so if you want to do it, which thank you, Foodie. I do have the right to look up whether or not you are trustworthy. But secondly, if you don't feel the need to address it, why do you keep bringing it up? You keep reiterating the same point over and over again, which means you do actually care what the viewer thinks. It's just the way you act, which shows your true intentions or how you really feel.
So this is a new scale that Salah bought me when I was in Kuwait. I asked him to get me a scale, and for one of the beginnings of my many journeys and cycles, yes, it is a cycle. It's a cycle, of course, of, binge eating cycle, just dieting cycle, all that. So that's why I want this to be a lifestyle change, not just a diet cycle. Trying to be more realistic and make smaller changes, and in hopes that those will add up and make a difference over time.
Which is a very good mindset to have. It is supposed to be a lifestyle change. You're supposed to change in order to keep it going. I can't tell you how many times I have seen people go, all right, I'm going to lose 10 kilos, or I'm going to lose 20 pounds, or I'm going to lose X amount of weight. Then they lose that weight and go back to doing the thing that made them gain weight in the first place, and then kind of go, oh, well, now I need to do it again. Yes, because you went back to eating unhealthy foods or overeating, and that caused you to gain weight again. Like, did you not think that was going to happen? Also, if you haven't done the mental work, which again, she has not done the mental work, it is going to be a cycle. You will break again, even if it was a little bit longer this time. It's been 3-4 weeks. I haven't broke yet. All right, cool. What's going to happen 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down the track? Like, you have to plan ahead. Otherwise, you're just going to fail eventually. Work on your mental.
I'm doing that so I don't overwhelm myself, because that's how I've always failed in the past. I get too overwhelmed and just say screw it and just throw everything out the window and just go back to my old habits. So yeah, you can see my new treadmill in the background overlooking the Gulf Sea, and I did try it and everything is fine. Works very well, and seems to hold my weight well enough. But I'm going to be doing a live, 10-minute workout on it. Probably later today. So be sure to subscribe and check that out. And become a member of my channel. If you would like to, you can use the custom emojis I have in my chats. So.
No, thank you. I do not want to support a cat abuser.
So like I said, I'm not going to weigh myself for at least another week. Just because it does fluctuate here and there, and I don't want to get discouraged for whatever reason. It just fluctuates a little bit here and there. So I'm going to wait to see if there's a bigger loss, maybe in a week or so. And I will, have Salah film that way in too. And
also, I've been kind of watching some of the retro reacts for Foodie and Amber, and I've noticed that them, as well as a couple other bigger creators, do the same thing, where they're like 400, 500, 600 pounds on the first or second week into the diet, and they go, we're plateauing. Sorry, what? Plateauing at 500, 600 pounds. What do you mean you're plateauing? There's no such thing as a plateau at 500 pounds. That doesn't exist. And I know it doesn't exist because I used to be 300 and something pounds. I have only just plateaued at, I think I'm around 180, 190 now. I only got 8 kilos left to be at my current healthy weight. That's my weight range and weight goal. I'm only just plateauing after 56 kilos. There is no way in hell that you plateau at 500, 600 pounds. Doesn't exist, sorry. It's like Tess Holiday saying that she has anorexia, but then if you go onto her For You page or Instagram page and you scroll down a couple of videos, she'll cry about how she has anorexia, but then follow it up with eating a whole cake meant for 20 people by herself. Where's the anorexia? Is it in the room with us?
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, or the last weigh-in, I didn't have him film it because he wasn't available at the time I wanted to do it. It just so happened, and I was just impatient and wanted to get my video done and everything, and I was happy with my weigh-in, so I was excited to do it, to do the video, and didn't want to wait around for him to be available to film me. So, but beyond that, I'm also trying to make changes in the emotional intelligence department.
In order to be emotionally aware, you have to be emotionally intelligent, which you're not. Same thing with Amber. She likes to say that she's empathetic, but when you take other people's negative situations and their hurt feelings and just what they're going through and apply it to yourself in order to make yourself some sort of victim, that's not you being empathetic. That's just you being an attention seeker, taking other people's hurt and putting onto you to make yourself the victim in the situation. Like, just because you are empathetic towards your own feelings does not mean you're empathetic to other people. And they lack the understanding of emotional awareness means you have to be emotionally aware of other people's feelings and how to act a certain way in order to make sure they are not being hurt even worse, or you're helping them in order to feel better. That is how emotional awareness works. These two only care about how they feel and how the situation is going to affect them. They don't care about everyone else. And I also have the foresight of knowing that only 2 weeks later, this woman is going to get on camera and wish harm and the unaliving onto someone else. She wished the fact that someone else was no longer alive. She also made fun of someone else's deceased mother as some sort of gotcha moment in order to get back at this woman, which realistically, I'm pretty sure I saw the right live stream from FFG, and she didn't even really talk about their family, like Foodie's family, all that much, and she didn't really do it in an assaulting way. Like, I could have been wrong and I probably could have watched the wrong one, but from what I saw, I didn't see anything that bad, which, like, I don't want to be rude, but Foodie, you were saying much worse about your parents, so, like, if you're getting offended over someone else saying something bad about your parents, maybe check yourself, because you said much worse in the past.
So I'm trying to really not let my emotions, particularly, I have trouble with anger. I anger very quickly, get irritated very quickly, and I'm really trying to get a hold of that. I'm really trying not to let anything trigger me. I'm trying to just be positive and be very kind. I think that, you know,
Alright guys, get ready for some bull in 3, 2, 1.
and it's so classic, but it's so true. Kindness gets you so much farther in life than being a jerk, for lack of a better term, or just having a negative outlook on life. I think we can all agree we're all on the same journey of life, and there's, no matter what we do, we can't control the fact that God's put obstacles in our way. There's going to be many ups, there's going to be many downs, several of them probably even throughout the one day that we're living now. And the only thing we have a choice over is how we deal with it, what attitude we're going to put towards these problems. And it makes life so much easier if you have a positive outlook, and if you're just kind to everyone, even people who are not kind to you. That's my goal. I haven't always been a kind person. I've said and done many things that have hurt people, and that bothers me a lot. And if I've ever said anything to you as a viewer, anything like that, anybody who I may have hurt with words, I do sincerely apologize. You can always reach out to me if it would be very meaningful for you to get some kind of apology from me directly if I hurt you. I have put out a lot of swear words and sometimes a lot of vulgarities in my past, and done some things that are very controversial, and I don't have that in me anymore. I don't have that in me to live that kind of lifestyle, the one that's more entertaining for a lot of people and more dramatic, but I really just don't. I'm older, and my priorities have just shifted over the past couple of years. It's been an adjustment, and it hasn't been perfect. I'm not a perfect Muslim revert. It's a learning curve for me, but there's a lot of lessons that Allah has taught me that have been also very, very, very valuable. And I will do many videos on talking about things that I've learned. I've been writing them down. As soon as I have an epiphany, I write them down, and I'm just like, that's a lesson,
Oh, Foodie, that was just absolutely, I have just a tear in my eye. It's rolling down my cheek. It's so beautiful. I mean, of course, we all know that's a god tier ass pull. Like, we all know that you're not actually sorry. You don't actually care. Like, you only care about getting money and views and love and admiration. That you don't care about how other people feel. And, like, who gives two shits about the things that you said? What about the things that you've done? Are we going to ignore the fact all the stuff that you did with Nader and defending Nader and his actions? Are we going to ignore the fact that you know, all the negligence towards your animals, or leaving your best friend Pete, who was dealing with severe depression, alone so you go hook up with a guy who was not only essaying you, but potentially other women as well? Not to mention the fact that you were only a couple weeks later were making fun of FFG's looks, wishing she was no longer alive, hoping that she would end up like her mother who was deceased, ending up like her grandmother, hoping that people would lose their children, referring to people as S workers and demeaning them, ignoring the fact that, pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you have also done the same thing. Like, you were also asking people to sell certain photos of you. So, like, it's funny for you to talk about other people potentially doing, you know, S work while you also did the same thing. Or from what my understanding is, you wanted to at least do the same thing. So, like, even if you didn't, you still wanted to do it for money. So, I mean, you're not far off from being the same person. So, who are you to criticize?
Same thing with Bangkok. I feel like if I got anything out of going to Bangkok, I feel like being turned off of a indulgent lifestyle is definitely beneficial. I think that, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I think that, you know, I had that in the back of my mind, like, okay, I'm going to Bangkok, you know, I can be more free, I can be more indulgent. And where did that get me? It made me depressed. It made me sick, physically very sick, mentally sick, and just miserable. And I'm so much happier and clear-minded here, and I'm so much feeling a lot better anyways. So
The thing is, you try to paint it in a picture, it's like, oh, I'm having a spiritual awakening where overindulgence is affecting me negative, both physically and mentally, but it's not. You got food poisoning, which was a physical aspect, and you could say that was spiritual, but it wasn't. It was the fact that you overate and then ate something you probably shouldn't have, or something that didn't agree with you, which gave you food poisoning. You also were trying to compensate for the fact that you were so emotionally fried at the fact that you knew that you were not going to spend time with your husband, and so therefore you couldn't watch your husband. And you knew that before you were even on the plane, he was already hitting other women up. Like, that is how just shitty of a person he is the fact that you probably weren't even out of Kuwait yet, and he was already hitting other women up. And you could say it was your friend, but we all know who it was, Foodie.
I still have a lot of health problems that probably won't diminish until I'm a lot smaller in weight. And who knows? Maybe they won't even go away. You never know. So I'm hoping they will, inshallah. But, you know, I'd like to get rid of my CPAP machine, honestly. It's a pain. I hate sleeping with it. I mean, it's like, I don't feel it anymore. I'm so used to it. It doesn't bother me to have it on, but I don't love it. I would rather sleep normal. I would rather be able to just take a nap on the couch like anyone and not have to worry about wearing a CPAP, you know? So there's like goals I have that I need to achieve and get busy doing. And, so yeah, so I'm just wanting to focus on my life, focus on my journey, and I know that that will probably affect my channel. Like, I'm sure that most people, I'm not, you know, ignorant to the fact that people come to my channel for drama, for the train wreck, and
Why do I feel so called out right now?
but a lot of people, you know, I have beezers who just come for me, and I really appreciate you guys. You know, I love doing this for you guys, and
Except in yours and Amber's case, your biggest supporters are also your biggest haters, because they are the reason, or at least part of the reason, why you're so complacent and staying who you are. Like, you could actively change and better yourself, but when you have dozens of people, not hundreds of people, but dozens of people in your comments telling you to eat unhealthy food, that it's okay to have cheat days when you're not even a 4 week into your diet, by the way, that it's perfectly fine to go out and have as much food as you want because you're only going to do it once, except you do that nearly on a daily basis anyway. You're going to justify your bad habits. You have an ED and you have someone or multiple people in your ears telling you what to do. Of course, you're going to break. Obviously, it's not their fault because you do it, but they're certainly not helping.
That's fine. I have to do what I have to do. And, you know, that's all I can do. This is more important than views. This is more important than YouTube. This is my life. And I do want to share the journey because, you know, there's so many people going through it. I really, really, really hope to help people with it. You know, for me, life on Earth is kind of meaningless if we don't try to help other people. You know, we're not an island. We're not meant to be, you know, totally just isolated from the rest of the world when it comes to helping people, if you can, you know. And if I get healthy and that can help people with my journey, that's amazing, you know. So, and it doesn't have to be a huge helping somebody. It could be little things, you know, but just always having others in mind, always trying to be kind. That's what I'm trying to shift my mentality into, and not, you know, lower myself to hatred and negativity and making fun of others and stuff like that. I'm just, yeah, I think I'm trying to really move beyond that. So I guess that's it, guys. That's all I wanted to say. A lot of talking, but that's just my sentiments. There'll probably be a lot of talking videos about how I'm feeling and stuff like that. It's like a video journal, I guess. So yeah, stay tuned for the live stream. I will try the treadmill, and I'll do it sometimes on live, but for the most part, you know, to be totally comfortable, I won't work out in hijab a lot of the time, so I won't do it every day, but I'll do it once in a while. We'll see. I don't know. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Alright guys, going to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do apologize for the last two clips. My voice did change because I had to retake them when I got back home. So if it did change a little bit, I apologize. But I just didn't really have much of a choice. The last two clips did play it up a little bit, so I had to kind of retake them anyway. But hopefully you guys don't mind too much, and hopefully I see you lovely people in the next one. Bye-bye.